Hi, I'm Amber from Influencer Updates on Instagram, and tonight I'm going to be talking about the 3 biggest influencer updates for the week in Australia. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Dom and Ella. They have announced, they're ex-MAFS people, and they've announced that they are ending their podcast amid rumours of a friendship feud. Jessika Power, she has posted a GoFundMe page for her father's funeral. And thirdly, Veruca Salt and Tasha Paige. They are both OnlyFans creators and they are currently feuding over Veruca Salt's baby's funeral. As horrible as that sentence sounds, that is what the feud is about, and it is crazy. I'm guessing you've all heard some bits about it, but I'm going to tell you the whole story from the start. So, first story I'll go into is Domenica Calarco and Iyia Liu from the Sit With Us podcast. They are both ex-MAFS and they have been friends for years now. They started this podcast together 2 years ago and yeah, they abruptly ended it yesterday. So Dom went onto her podcast Facebook group and made a statement saying that they are no longer going to be running the podcast together. And it was all very much like from her point of view. Towards the end, she sort of mentioned like, oh, Ella and I, and then she signs it off Dom. So it was very much from her. There was no like from Ella. There was no comment from Ella on the post. And then today Ella has done her own post in the Facebook group sort of saying, I guess, her side of the story about it ending. She's also gone on to her personal Instagram and done like actually it's onto her Instagram stories and done like a talk about, you know, why it's ending and just saying they've been friends for a long time and thank you to everyone for the support. But still nobody has actually said a reason why it's ending. So to me, it's very clear that they are no longer friends. So Dramatic, the podcast, they have been reporting on signs of a feud for quite a few weeks now. So they've been saying that like since Domenica came out of her mental health facility and she's also since gone to Europe for a big holiday, she was saying, So Dramatic was saying that Dom and Ella don't seem to be engaging with each other's content anymore. Like there's been a like here and there of some of the posts, but yeah, they haven't been seen together. They haven't been commenting on each other's things. Ella has been running the podcast on her own in Domenica's absence. And yeah, so there was sort of rumours of a rift happening and then yeah, this big announcement has come. So that's kind of proved all of that right. I'll just see. Yep, so I've covered all of that. I suppose my thoughts on the situation, like I said, to me it's clear that they're not friends, which is really sad because obviously they were besties. They were super tight. Ella did get married recently and it was an elopement where they didn't tell anybody except for the witnesses and they went to a registry office and got married. And then they showed up to what was supposedly Ella's 30th birthday where all of her friends and family were there and said, surprise, we actually got married earlier today. And in the video, to me, Domenica, she looked crushed, but at the same time, she looked so excited. And I mean, this is just my interpretation of her emotions. Like they did film everyone's reaction. And I mean, maybe her natural reaction is sort of shock and excitement. But to me, I feel like she would have been a little bit crushed that she didn't know that Ella was getting married. So I'm wondering if maybe that sort of started part of like a bit of tension between them. And then that was possibly amplified by, they interviewed Jack. He was one of the villains from MAFS. They interviewed him recently on their podcast. And he was the one who famously said to another MAFS husband, put a muzzle on your woman. Okay, I think I'm paraphrasing there, but it was something like put a muzzle on your woman, as in stop her talking. And they sort of brought up that quote in the podcast and Domenica and Ella sort of forgave him in the way that they were saying, oh, we know like the producers would have pushed you into behaving that way. Like sort of saying it's not his fault, it's the producer's fault. And they were doing that on purpose to like get good footage. And the general public did not like that Domenica and Ella were sort of like supporting Jack in that sort of behaviour and not calling him out on it. And yeah, that really has blown up in the media, their interview with him. And I think that like post that interview, Domenica she is the one that sort of got most of the flack for that interview, even though it is a joint interview. But that is when she then took time off social media and went into a mental health facility. And then, yeah, I think that's amplified the feud the tension between Dom and Ella. And now, yeah, they don't appear to be friends anymore. I'm also thinking maybe Ella is planning to do her own solo podcast, because I find it interesting that like the whole branding has shut down. Like they've shut down the TikTok, the Instagram, the Facebook group is still there. But yeah, I'm wondering if maybe like somebody wrote on the So Dramatic podcast post tonight saying that their theory is that Ella has been wanting out for a while now and that Dom was upset about it and that was causing tension between them. But yeah, they were saying it didn't actually seem like it was a sudden decision. Like if you look at all the clues, it seems like it has been winding down for a little bit. But yeah, I'm wondering if Ella's going to be doing her own solo podcast, because she has said that there's projects that she's working on. She does have her giveaway business. But yeah, I feel like that is a potential thing, and she would be rebranding it and renaming it. But then maybe it'll be a surprise and Dom will actually come out with her own podcast. I'm not sure. Time will tell. And I'm just reading here. Oh yeah, so Ella also mentioned recently that she's not planning on having children anytime soon, even though she has gone off hormonal contraception. I think that's relevant only because I don't believe she would be starting a new podcast if she was planning to try and fall pregnant soon. I mean, she might, but that would be a lot to be taking on, if that makes sense. Like it is a very big thing having a baby and having a new podcast on her own. Like she wouldn't be able to take time off if she's got a new baby. But anyway, that is just me speculating, you know. The second story I'm going to go over tonight is Jessika Power. So this week, her dad sadly passed away. Yes, technically he is her stepdad, but she has said previously that he raised her and she calls him dad. So for the sake of this conversation, I will refer to him as her dad. So he recently passed away suddenly, and there was a GoFundMe set up to cover the costs of his funeral. So the person who set it up was trying to raise $2,500 Australian dollars to cover the costs of his funeral. And then Jessika and her brother Reese Power, who is also famous, I believe he's an OnlyFans creator, but also works in the mines. They both shared the GoFundMe page to their public stories. So Jessika has a very large following, and for her to share that to her stories is very much like sharing it to the public. Like she's not just sharing it to family and friends. So it's very interesting. When I last checked, it had raised over $13,000, even though they were only asking for $2,500. But it's interesting to me and to everybody else because I got so many comments, like DMs about this one. Back in, I think it was 2021, so about 2 years ago, Jessika Power posted a TikTok video where she notoriously, like this blew up. It's so famous. Like she was known for this. She showed her bank statement of how much money she spent each month for a year. And in total, it was approximately 390,000 Australian dollars that she had spent for the year. Now, I don't know if that includes like investments and things that she's making potentially, but in 1 month alone, she spent over $100,000. And the cheapest month was in August of the year, where she only spent $7,000, and that's because she was filming Big Brother VIP that month. So this is all from Yahoo Lifestyle, by the way, the website. It's also interesting that apparently on the TikTok, her brother Reese Power said, "Fuck them, Jess. If they're broke, that's their fault. Get out of here." It's just funny that he wrote that when now that their dad has passed away and there's a GoFundMe shared that they're trying to raise $2,500 from the public. And yeah, he also is, you know, people think that he is well off, being that he works in the mines and does OnlyFans. I think between them, you would think that they could come up with $2,500. So it's interesting that this was shared to the public, and yeah, people didn't take it favourably, I suppose. And the third story I've got for tonight is probably the biggest one of the week, I think. Like those two stories were pretty big, but this one, Veruca Salt and fellow OnlyFans creator Tasha Paige, they are having a feud. So it started, I don't know, 6 months ago now, when Veruca's baby sadly passed away at just 6 weeks old, and Tasha was sort of friendly with Veruca. She had been to her baby shower and bought Veruca a present for her baby shower, but she didn't put a card on it, and Veruca therefore didn't say thank you for the present. But when she was unboxing her presents on TikTok, she did say, "Oh, here's a present, has no card on it. If it was from you, let me know because I can't thank you." So that was a coincidence that Tasha was saying no, that she didn't receive thanks, but Veruca actually did publicly thank the person. So that's where it all started, the baby shower. And then when Cash did pass away, Cash is Veruca's baby, Tasha was in America at the time, and she sent Veruca a teddy bear and some flowers. She never actually met Cash, and then she decided, well, not decided, she was, I guess, invited to the funeral. She was asked to come to the funeral, so she did. And she said that she took a bottle of tequila as gift to the baby, to the funeral, which that is a kind of a weird gift to take to a funeral. But she was saying that she'd taken a teddy bear, sent a teddy bear and flowers previously, and that the vibe of the funeral was very much like there was alcohol served. And also she had asked Veruca, what is your alcohol that you would like me to bring? And Veruca had said tequila. So Veruca was saying there was no problem with that. But Tasha was just saying that that was part of the problem. I'm not sure. Their stories are kind of strange. There's a lot of details, I suppose. Okay, so where was I up to? The funeral. So Tasha also wore a black mini skirt, and Veruca said that Tasha also wore pink underwear, and she knows that because Tasha got so drunk at the funeral that she ended up laying on the back lawn with her legs spread in front of Veruca's 9-year-old sister, which Veruca obviously thinks is revolting and very inappropriate. Tasha also started speaking to Veruca's grandma, I think it was, about her eating disorder, saying that the food here is so good I can actually eat it even though I have an eating disorder, something like that. This is Veruca's side of the story, by the way. And then, sorry, I'll see what else I've written in my summary. Oh yeah, when it came time to say farewell to Cash, like the car was with the coffin was driving away, the funeral director said, does anyone want to say any words? And Tasha took over and was saying very inappropriate things such as Cash is going to get so much pussy in heaven, and yeah, just very inappropriate sexual things. And you can hear Veruca in the video. Veruca posted a video as proof. Veruca actually said to her, Tash, he's a baby. And everybody was just awkwardly, not really laughing, just sort of this is a bit weird. Tasha's saying now that there's nothing more she can do. She's apologized and she takes accountability for her actions, but she has followed it up with multiple videos, still trying to sort of plead her case and innocence, but she kind of just digs herself another hole every time she releases a video, and she's making it worse and worse and worse. It's a very horrible situation. The latest update is that Tasha is now making merch around this situation. So the merch is some t-shirts saying, I hate Tasha Paige and cancel Tasha Paige. Even though she is Tasha Paige, she's making cancel merch about herself. And Veruca reposted the merch pictures saying, Tasha girl, no one's buying merch off you and letting you profit off the death of a 6-week-old baby. Hope this helps. Which I just can't even imagine how horrible this is for Veruca. Veruca probably shouldn't be poking the bear by posting all this publicly, but at the same time, Veruca is the victim here, the victim of Tasha, and Veruca can do whatever she wants, in my opinion. Tasha needs to stop posting about it, but she's obviously getting a lot of clout from this, and I think that must be her motive in this situation now. And also another update here is that Tasha posted a legislation page from Australian law, I suppose. It's from the Queensland Government Courts page, and it's a chapter on threats. So I think that what she's implying is that she's going to get a legal representative to maybe tell Veruca to stop threatening her, or maybe it's to stop people that are commenting, or maybe people are sending Tasha threats over this situation, I'm not sure. But yeah, it looks like she's going to get legal with a few people. I think that's everything I have to say about that situation. But I'm sure there'll be more stuff that comes up in the comments. But yeah, it's a very crazy feud, and I don't think it's over yet. They both seem to be continuing to post daily about that one. And also Tasha's videos on TikTok about it are getting over 1 million views each time. Yes, it's a very big feud that people are keeping up with. Okay, so I'll start with the questions. Who is Molly Cook's girlfriend? Her name is Ava I can't remember her surname, but her name is Ava. If you look up Molly's Friends and search Ava, you will find her girlfriend. Oh, someone's recovering from a Bali trip with kids this weekend. That sounds good to be recovering, I suppose. Any news on Kerry Gribble and Josh and their breakup? No, I think the breakup is permanent. Like, as when I last heard, Kerry is, making it clear that the breakup is permanent. She's been posting lots of relationship advice and, different things. And it definitely sounds like she doesn't want to be with Josh anymore and that he's not treating her right and all that sort of thing. This person saying that they don't think that Dom and Ella announced the ending of the podcast very professionally. I thought Dom was a bit more sincere and genuine towards their podcast followers over it ending. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think it was professional either, like just sort of announcing it in their podcast Facebook group. Like, this is a major podcast. I imagine they have a lot of listeners and a lot of views, and to just end it like that. This is why it doesn't seem like a planned thing. It very much seems like an abrupt ending. But at the same time, people are saying, Ella seems to have been planning this in the background for a while, but that's just speculation. I'm not sure if that's actually true. Is anyone else wondering how Emmylou ended up with trademark issues with Sage Wellness before she even launched? No due diligence done on her part, will be an utter flop. Okay, this person always writes really mean things about Emmylou, but no, I'm not concerned about how she's ended up with a trademark issue. I think that it's very common. Even like my sister, who used to own Tribe Skincare, when she first started her brand, it used to be called Lifesaver Skincare, and she didn't even know about trademarking back then, I don't think. But Estee Lauder actually owns a trademark Lifesaver in the skincare realm, and they said that she's not allowed to use that, so she had to rebrand within a month of launching, and had to, sell out all her skincare and rebrand, and it was very stressful. But it's not uncommon. I mean, so now Sage Wellness, what's she rebranded her beauty to? I think it was called Sage, S-A-J-E, and now it's called Sage, just S-A-J. So she's just changed the spelling of it, which is a great idea, I suppose. And it's probably better, actually, that it's changed before she's launched, because then she's not going to have to change everything after it's launched. It's actually worked out quite well for her. And I also think that Sage, S-A-J, I just think that's a really cool brand name, actually. Ella seems unbothered by the podcast ending, yet also condescending when she speaks to camera. I think that that's just her tone of voice. Like, people say that, she always seems condescending. I don't imagine she is, but I think that it's probably a bit of like trying not to offend people when she talks. I think that influencers are so careful with the way they say things that it comes across condescending sometimes. Like, I've noticed Sarah's Day, people say that she sounds condescending, but I think it's just they're trying not to say the wrong thing and trying to sound nice at the same time. Please talk about the Paullie restock. I mean, I don't really know anything about the Paullie restock. Someone messaged me yesterday saying that they haven't been able to get the cleanser since it originally launched. So it launched about 7 months ago, the Paullie skincare, like the original products, and then they did a restock a few weeks later, and apparently the cleanser has been sold out pretty much since then, so something like 29 weeks ago, and people write on like every post, please restock, please restock. So that would be really annoying if you've changed over to a new skincare brand and started using the cleanser and had good results, and then it hasn't been in stock. But she's also been releasing heaps of new products in the meantime, so I think that that's bothering people. They're like, stop launching new products, we want the original. But I would say that it's something to do with like the supplier or an ingredient or something. I don't imagine she's on purposely taking forever to restock this product. People are saying they saw the funeral video that Veruca posted about Tasha's behaviour and her saying that we hope Cash gets a lot of pussy in heaven. And it was very confronting. Like, when I read Veruca's story, like, she actually wrote it in text first and said what had happened. And I was like, wonder if this is a bit exaggerated. But then when I saw the video footage, I was like, wow, like, this is actually even worse than what Veruca had written. Like, it was so, so bad. We talk about the influencer that left her children in the car while she went back and finished her meal in a restaurant. Yeah, so that was something I posted this week in subscribers, and it got a lot of attention. I was going to make it one of the 3 stories that I spoke about tonight, but the other 3 were more like mainstream sort of stories. So this influencer, Iyia Liu, she is New Zealander, and she has owned like quite a lot of businesses, like a waist training business and like a subscription grazing box business. She also does a lot of business coaching. She was on a show in New Zealand called like Boss Babes or something, I think for 3 seasons. So she's quite a celebrity by the sounds of it in New Zealand. Also, fun fact, when Kayla, before she started her Tribe skincare business or Lifesaver skincare business, she actually did Iyyia's course, and that is what got her starting her business. So yeah, that's interesting. That's how I know who Iyia is. And yeah, she did a post this week saying that her children threw a tantrum in a restaurant. Her children are 1, and I'm not sure how old the older one is, but her youngest child is only 1 year old. And she was in a restaurant and they were both throwing tantrums. So she wrote on her story that she took them to the car, put them in the car and like in their seatbelts and everything, and then went back into the restaurant herself and finished her meal. And everybody is up in arms about this because obviously it is illegal to leave children in a car unattended. And I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt because otherwise this story is just horrible. So I'm hoping that maybe the children were like out the front within eyesight, or I don't think anybody else was in the car with them. But yeah, to leave a 1-year-old in a car unattended is pretty horrendous. I don't think that the weather would be warm and that the car would overheat. But what a lot of people don't realize is that as an adult, if you leave the car, same at petrol stations, like if you have your children in the car and you walk into the petrol station, there's a lot of cars driving around petrol stations, right? What if you get hit by a car as you're walking into the petrol station or walking back to your car? You end up going to hospital and your children are locked in your car and no one even knows that they're there. I think that is the biggest problem with leaving your children unattended in a car. I mean, worst case scenario, of course, but it's the same with like if your children are sleeping at home. You don't then go for a run for half an hour while they nap and then come home, because what if you go for a run and you fall over and you don't end up coming home? But yeah, I think that is pretty horrendous. She did take the story down very quickly. Well, actually not that quickly. It was up for a few hours. And I haven't heard anyone else talking about it. I've been Googling to see if it pops up in the news and it hasn't. But yeah, it's pretty horrendous. Oh, gosh. Oh, Sophie Keisha is out tonight with her daughter. I won't say where she is just because that's a bit of a worry. Okay, it's awkward for Tasha, but I'm sure her OnlyFans subscription will be increasing, so she is making money, which is bad, off this situation. Yeah, absolutely. I've noticed her TikTok following has gone up by a lot as well. People, well, including me, I wasn't following her before and now I am. Like, people want to see the drama. And yeah, it's working, but I certainly won't be subscribing to her OnlyFans. Someone's saying their comment got deleted. I actually can't delete comments on Instagram Live, so... Oh, unless they're talking about their comment got deleted on something else. Not sure, sorry. Oh, someone else is saying that they are currently out and Sophie Keisha is there. Okay, 3 people are saying it. That's interesting. They're saying that she's at the outrigger. I'm not actually sure what that is. Tammy's new boobs, yes. So Tammy has revealed that her mystery surgery was that she had her breast implants removed. She has then had new implants put in and gone bigger. So the surgeon suggested that she needed either a lift, or if she wanted to avoid a lift, which she did because she didn't want extra scarring, she could then go a size bigger, which would avoid a lift. And I mean, they're probably swollen still at the moment, but they do look huge. But that's obviously the look that she's going for. And she's getting married in a few months, so that must be what she wants for her wedding as well. And yeah, she said in her video that she got them revised because it's been 8 years now and she's not happy with the way they look anymore. So she was saying they look more like cousins rather than sisters. So I thought that was quite funny. What happened to Martha Kay's podcast and fashion label? That is a good question because, yeah, they both seem to have just disappeared. So her podcast was with her friend Roj, I think it was. And, yeah, like when Martha had her baby, they just sort of stopped doing it and never spoke about it, and it hasn't come back. And the fashion label, see, I can't even remember what that was called, but that was with 2 other women. I think that still exists, but yeah, I don't hear about it ever, really. Sometimes I used to see Steph Claire Smith wearing the clothes. I used to get the occasional email from the brand, and I don't get that anymore. So I believe it's still going, but yeah, I don't hear anything about it. Someone's saying that they believe that this is a PR stunt by Veruca. She's launching a new business using Cash's name, right? All round sad. Well, no. So I went back through my subscriber stories, and Veruca actually announced this new business, Cash's Corner, which is a clothing business, a baby clothes business. She announced it over a month ago. So it wasn't, I don't believe this is a PR stunt for her new business. And Tasha is the one that started all of this. Tasha is the one that went on her TikTok the other night and made a video about a mystery person and mystery events. Like, she called the funeral an event. And oh my gosh, yeah, Tash is just, I think that she's just not quite right. Like, that is horrendous. Everything she's said about it has not been nice at all. But yeah, I don't think it is a publicity stunt by Veruca. But I do find the name of the business very strange. Like, Cash's Corner is the name of the clothing business. And when I first read it, I genuinely read it as Cash's Coroner. And I thought, what is this about? Like, what is Cash's Coroner? And yeah, it turns out I'd actually just read it wrong. And yeah, now every time I see it, that's all I can see. And I just don't think that was a good choice of word in a business name. Oh, okay. Everyone's saying the outrigger is in Fiji. That's cool. Wow. Everyone must be in Fiji at the moment. Lucky. Oh, yeah. Martha Kay's brand name is Lem. And they're about to release a new collection. So there you go. They are still doing new collections. Someone else writing stuff about Emmylou. All right, well, thank you everybody for sending in your questions this week. And if I didn't answer your question, please send me a DM, because I love talking about influencers and I'm sure we can talk about it in there. And if you haven't subscribed, you need to subscribe. Everybody that has subscribed, thank you. And I will talk to you all soon, because I talk to the subscribers daily. And yeah, I'll hop on now and probably post some new stories for the night. Okay, thank you. Bye.